Hey, Jared here, Sweet Spot Stringing. Got one more to do this weekend. I'm doing all my own rackets this weekend. Um, this one, well, story is I've cracked a couple of rackets lately, and they haven't broken right through the frame. So, saw a video online where you can repair them with a bit of super glue, and I've supported that repair with a bit of bicarb soda as well. Apparently it works really well. So I don't know if you can see on the racket just here, there's a repair. Probably can't, it probably won't focus on it, but anyhow, so there's a repair with some super glue and some bicarb soda, and I've done a couple now with that repair. Used the first one on Thursday night and it held up, it didn't break, so it's given me some confidence to go forward and do some more rackets with that repair. I string my rackets fairly tight at 27 pound, and I really like this racket so much so I went and bought another racket the same as this to replace this one. That was before I knew that maybe there's a chance it could be repaired, but I've now going to try and repair it anyhow. I have two more or less the same. The other racket I did the repair on, it did work. I wouldn't have thought super glue and bicarb soda would be good enough, but anyhow, it seems like it is. The other racket I did, I don't actually like the racket very much, so it was a good practice one, but not that it really matters because they're broken anyhow. So you know, if they if they start working again, then great. But if they don't, then I guess I haven't lost anything because it was already smashed. But anyhow, this is a Hundrd brand racket. It's a Aeroflash 8000 Zoom. It's actually not that dear a racket, these, compared to the one I did earlier today. This is one I did earlier. This is my Onyx Nano Flare 1000. This was an expensive racket, and I love this racket. Had the best run of all time with this. I went 6 weeks without losing a game, which was unheard of for me. Playing 6 games a week. Yeah, not losing one, which was pretty cool. Probably set some unrealistic expectations that I probably started to think I was undefeatable in our region, but I'm not. Oh, this one here, you can see my logo on it too, my SS Sweet Spot logo. I think it looks pretty cool when I stencil them up. Anyhow, that's a ripper racket. If you want to spend good coin on a good racket, go and have a look at a Nano Flare 1000 ZZ. That's an absolute ripper. I hope that whoever's watching this, there's only a couple of you anyhow, but hopefully you are at least have an interest in badminton, an interest in badminton, because yeah, it'd be a shame for you to log in here and not be interested in badminton. Anyway, I'm going to string this racket now. My machine is a 2086 Professional tennis head. That's the machine that pulls the thing. I don't know what the body of this thing is called though. A Spinfire. Spinfire Blaze is this bit here. Oh, the microphone is just in reach there. I might just move that. There we go. Spinfire Blaze something or other for the machine. Probably needs a bit of a service because it feels a little bit catchy. I don't know how to service them though, but anyhow, it's fine. Now, strings. The strings that came out of this were blue, and I really liked them. They were X-Bolt 63 is what I string my rackets with. They were blue. I really love them, but can't get blue ones. So, what do you think? Yellow or black in this white racket? The racket's got some gold on it. You can't really see it in the video, but it's got some gold. ET's joined. Phone home. Hello, Rashid. Yeah, I'm torn between whether to use yellow strings or black strings. Yellow strings definitely easier to string with, that's for sure. Because under this LED light you can see them much better. They really shine. But yeah, I don't know. Feels like it's the biggest decision of my life. What colour strings to put in my racket? think the black will look best in this white racket, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so for measuring strings, I use 5.5 lengths of my stringing machine. Gives me plenty, probably, well, gives me more than I need, really. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Gets me through the thing, and enough to enough left over to not have to worry that I'm going to run short at the end of the stringing job, because that's one thing you don't want to happen, not have enough string at the end. If I was doing this as a commercial venture, like actually trying to make money out of this, then I'd probably be a little bit more cautious about how much I use, measure it out properly, but can't be stuffed. Alright, so we've got them measured up, leveled up, and so many things for it to catch on, and nice and even on both ends. So I said I'll do my strings at 27 pound for me, and yeah, so put a starting, where's my starting clamp? There we go. Put a starting clamp up here somewhere for the strings to pull against. Sometimes you can use one of the inner clamps, but I just find it gets in the way, so we do that. Something for the string to pull up against for that first pull, and then when I get to tensioning that, I'll tensioning the second side, I'll retension that one. You know what I'm going to do, just out of interest as well, which I don't normally do with my stringing, but Victor Axelsen does do this, so I'm going to put a pre-stretch on these just to see what that does. So I don't normally use pre-stretch on my stringing. Most people don't ask for it, and I certainly don't bother with it on my own strings. But for this one, just for the purpose of an experiment, we're going to try some pre-stretch, see what it does. This might be a problem with pre-stretch though, is running out of room on the machine, because the machine's only got a certain length of pull. There we go. So it just pulls an extra pound of pressure, but then releases a bit. You can see that other one's held up nice and tight because of this starting clamp that's in place here. There's no risk of damaging the frame because there's a little plastic grommet there that it's pushing up against. And normally do 4 per side before switching to the other side. So remember that pre-stretch is on. Interesting. It's not much pre-stretch. Thought it might have done a bit more than that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I wonder if it's more of a tennis thing than badminton thing. Definitely makes it a bit slower though with the pre-stretch. So where are we all watching from? Paul Turner, where are you from, mate? That's a fairly Australian kind of name. You must be an Aussie. Tell me if I'm wrong. I wonder how many people scroll through the live things on TikTok. I don't really do it on TikTok. TikTok's not actually my preferred place for these. This is the only place that I've got enough followers to go live, and that's only because it's an old account that's been around for a long time. It's not even my stringing account that this is being used on, but anyhow. So thanks for watching. For those people sticking around to have a bit of a look at what happens when you string a badminton racket. Certainly probably something that a lot of people haven't seen. When I started doing it, honestly, I thought it was some sort of bloody black magic, some sort of black art, but it's not. It's really not. You need patience to do it. You've got to be patient. But as far as it's not complicated. just follow a process. I think that's why I like it, because it's so process driven. Just follow the steps and it works out fine. I have changed a couple of things in the last couple of rackets I've strung though. Always learning. When I was in Bendigo last weekend in Victoria for a competition, just having a look at some professional players. It was freaking unbelievable, let me tell you. If you play badminton and haven't seen professional badminton players play, you need to find a way to make that happen real, like live. It's just astonishing. You think you're going okay and playing pretty good until you see them playing. It's like, oh no, I'm garbage. But anyhow, it was amazing to watch it. But they had some stringers there while I was there. They had some stringers. Oh, hang on, one short. There we go. Yeah, they had some stringers there for the fixing up the strings of the rackets that break, all the strings that break at the competition. Anyhow, I watched them string some rackets. I thought, oh yeah, okay, there's some tips there that I can learn from, which is pretty good. And I'm sure I was leaning towards one of those tips when I started that little dialogue, and now I've forgotten what I was going to say. So it'll come back to me. The machines they use to pull are much quicker too. Tim Tam, now that's an Aussie for sure. Hey Tim Tam, do you play badminton? How'd you stumble across what this little live's about? Oh yeah, that's one of the things. So yeah, so often when I've got like strings that jump over holes, I'll put an extra string in there as a puller to get it out of the way to let the string through, but don't worry about that now. Just use an awl in there and move the string out of the way with an awl. That's all the professional stringers were doing, so I figure if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. If it was a brand new racket, maybe I wouldn't, because it does leave a tiny little mark on the frame. By the time they're getting the stringing job, they've got a few little marks on them already. So this is the first time this has been strung since I purchased the racket. But yeah, the place that I buy my rackets from in Adelaide, he's great. His name's Chris from Badminton Supplies SA. He's freaking excellent. Great shop, tiny little shop, but full of stuff. And when you buy a racket off him, he'll string it for you. You pay for it, of course, but he does such a good job. And he's quick. So I just typically get him to string the rackets when I buy them, and then anything after that I do. Yeah, he's a bloody good stringer. Yeah, still not convinced on the pre-stretch. Not convinced. But we'll see. Definitely slows it down by doing that, because it just the little puller machine goes out a little bit, holds, and then comes back in a bit. So definitely slows the process down. Oh, and the other thing I learnt while I was watching these professional stringers, those the Yonex stringing thing, like they were the real deal. They're bloody amazing. The other thing I learnt was how strong the strings actually are. Maybe this racket that's had a repair is not as strong, but the strings are strong. So when you're trying to get through the shared holes, I'd faff around being really delicate with it. And they just yank the string out of the way really hard. So it's not really a big deal to put a bit of pressure on those strings to get them out the way on the shared holes. You'll see what that looks like in a second when I get to the crosses. It's not an issue on the mains, of course, but on the crosses it is. I'll go back to my first stringing job I did. I remember thinking to myself, oh, this doesn't take very long, because I was just doing the mains to start with. Like, oh, that's really quick, and whiz through that. But it's the crosses that takes all the time, all the weaving and shared holes and covered up holes and stuff. But, getting quicker at it as I go, but I'm not really that fussed about how fast I go on these. Don't care. I kind of find it relaxing to work through it. Except for when I can't get string in. There we go. Yeah, just work through the process step by step. It is kind of relaxing. One of the things I saw him do was tie off on a cross string. I hadn't seen that before. I thought that was a big no-no, but the professional bloody Yonex stringer, tied off on a cross. I was like, thought that was a no-no. I have not adopted that. I'm still doing it on the old, still doing that on the old, what do you call it? On the main string. Maybe this is my own racket. I could try that. Just do it on the cross. See if it makes. They reckon it breaks less strings, but I can't see how to make any difference. I think it's good enough to have a chat with me while he was doing it. So we're nearly at the outside 2 strings. Now if you're learning to string, it's a bit hard to see probably on this video, and to be fair, it's hard to see on a lot of videos. And if I was a bit more production oriented with these, I could show it, but I'm not, so you can't. And I'd love to have 2 cameras and do a bunch of editing and stuff, but don't have time for that. So yeah, with these, you actually take the last 2, the outside 2, and go through the last one of the mains, and then come back in to the next one. It's a bit unusual, but it takes a bit of pressure off the outside of the racket, which is good, of course, but then you put a bit of extra pressure up the tension on those last 2. Also allows you to clamp a bit closer to the frame, which is good. Tie this one off. Now the Hundrd brand rackets have got pretty generous shared holes. They're kind of big. So with that in mind, I typically do an extra bit of my knot on them just to make the knot a bit bigger so it doesn't pull into the into the hole, and then ultimately into the frame, because that's no good. Obviously you don't want that. So just make that knot a little bit bigger. Doesn't look quite as nice, to be fair, but it can save a bit of pain. That's that side done. See, loads of string left over. I definitely take too much string off. It's a waste. Should fix that up, really. Alright, so this is the one I'm a bit nervous about, because this is the broken one. This is where the repair is, right here. So when the first one I did with one of these repairs, I heard the frame crack just as I was tensioning on it, and you could see it, see the little glue where the glue cracked again. But then as I got into the crosses and started doing the crosses some more, I noticed that the little crack closed up a bit. So what I did was, while it was still in the clamps here, I re-glued it, and that seemed to work. So that was good. So I'm hoping this doesn't re-break, because this is where all the tension is now, pulling hard right on that joint. So let's see. Keep your ears open. So far so good. I didn't hear anything. So I'm using the 6-hole to tie off on. I use the Parnell knot to tie off. It's more of a tennis knot, but it's never ever let me down. So I'm happy enough to keep using that for badminton rackets. Seems to work well. And then just the third one there, just to make that knot bigger. You always lose a little bit of tension when the yeah, a little bit of tension when the clamp gets released. Alright, so that's the mains done. All looking pretty good. Play some guitar. And now we do the crosses. For the crosses I use 4.5 lengths of my machine. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Now, here's one for you. A lot of stringers will do a starting knot. So they'll put the string through hole number 8 at the bottom here, tie it off either just a big knot on its own or onto the string, and that'll be what the thing pulls up against when you just do your first cross. I don't do that because it feels to me like there's too much pressure on that knot, and on occasions it'll pull the knot back into the bloody frame and it's a disaster. So I'll show you what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on hole number 8, which is this one here. Oh, sorry, I start on hole number 9, which is this one here. So number 9 is the first cross, right? That's the first cross. And I leave a tag that's long enough to go into the machine to pull, right? And then clamp that. Just like that. Right, so now when I pull tension on this, the clamp holds it in place. And then I can come back, retension that. I'll show it to you when I do it. Come back and retension that one, and then just do a finishing knot. And for me, that feels a lot more secure. I suppose you could argue that it's not as tight, but I think at this point of the racket it doesn't matter. And I doubt anyone would ever freaking notice. One thing about these Hundrd rackets is they have got lovely, big, generous shared holes. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing is you always want to string one string ahead, because things start getting in the way of each other with the clamps and stuff when you yeah, when you're doing it. So I'm going to pull tension on that first cross now. See that clamp holds it in place, and that's nice and tight, and I can clamp that off now. Yep. This is where we need the little awl to get in there and move that string out of the way so I can get the string through there. Be careful not to clip the string on the way through. It's an under. And make sure you get your unders and your overs right. Didn't need that one. All right, pull this one up. Said it before in a couple of other videos, this X-Bolt 63 is a fantastic string to work with, and even better to play with. It's a fantastic string. So if you're using your bog standard strings and you're looking for a bit of an upgrade, then this is not a bad one to have a look at. It's bloody good. Fantastic repulsion. Sounds good. It's important, isn't it? You get that nice big sound when you play a smash. Yeah, it sounds really good. And it's quite thin, so you get good touch, good feel around the net, but it seems to last. I said the only reason the strings come out of this one is because I cracked the racket. They're probably due, because over time strings do soften and lose their tension, so it's probably due to be done anyhow. But you know the golden rule, don't you, for how often you should be changing your strings? It is the amount of times per year for the amount of times per week that you play. So if you play I'm going to go back and do that main string, that first string first. If you play fuck, that's caught in there. How'd they get caught in there? Ah, shit. It broke. Too much tension. Gotta be careful, don't you? That might have been this pre-stretch on that one, I reckon. Because I don't normally use pre-stretch. I reckon that's what's happened. But that's okay. We'll go back and do it again. Shame to waste the string, it's the only thing. Anyhow, whatever. Just have to be a bit more careful with that pre-stretch. Is that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 9's the first cross. Seems to be the case with all rackets now. The first cross is 9. Alright, who we got joining us? Oh, I don't know that, I can't read that. Logan Taylor, g'day Logan. Scotty Judd. Any of you guys play badminton? Is that why you've joined, or are you just scrolling through and got dumped on this page for some reason? Lives are a funny thing, aren't they? Yeah, so what I'd love, if anyone's actually interested, is to go and have a look at Sweet Spot Stringing on YouTube and give that a like, because that is where I really want to be doing these, but I don't have enough followers to do a live on YouTube. So I need 50 and I've only got about 5, so if you're feeling generous, that'd be a cool thing to do. I do move all these videos over to YouTube and beg for the same thing. Yeah. We shall see. Persevering with pre-stretch. They're my rackets, so not too fussed if I break them, really. They're my strings, not too fussed if I break them. It's interesting to work with pre-stretch just to see what happens with it. Yes, I was saying, did I get to my point? I can't remember if I got to my point. Yeah, the amount of times you pay per week is the amount of times per year you should replace your strings. So if you play once a week, replace your strings once a year. Play 3 times a week, you should be doing it 3 times a year. If they haven't broken, obviously if they break, you've got to replace them. But if you manage to get through, they'll have lost tension, they'll have lost their rebound ability and stuff. So by that time, you should be, oh, I didn't grip at all. Yeah, by that time you should be changing your strings. Hopefully you've got a good stringer in your area. We don't, well, I say we don't, we do because there's me. We don't typically, in our region, have a particularly good stringer, which is why I bought this machine, because we just don't have anyone down here that's that interested in doing badminton rackets, because they take a while. Probably should charge more than I do for them, to be fair, but I don't want to. I'm not doing it necessarily for the money, doing it because I like it. And so our club's got there's no one down here that does it, so I've got to send them to Adelaide to get a stringing job done, which is not ideal. I bought this T-bar puller. It's much easier. I have one with a round handle on it. It was too bloody hard. Okay, retension this one. Oh no, I can't retension that one yet. I've got to do one more yet before I can do that one. Yep, that's right. Oh, sorry, did you hear that? I just whacked the microphone. Normally I'd use a head, like a little clip-on mic, but I don't have it with me today, so I am using a microphone on a stand. It's one of those Blue Yeti things. I think they're okay, but yeah, that's what I'm using for today. Hopefully you can hear. Give me a thumbs up or give me something. Jesus Christ, that's tight. Gotta get that off. Don't know what happened there. Right, now I can do this string here. Get that sorted. Now that I'm 3 strings along. Like that. So this is the first cross I'm doing now. I've gone backwards a little bit. Tie off on number 8, which would normally be the starting knot, but like I said, in this case, because I can do a finishing knot here, and that's much less pressure on everything. Works way better. And this is not me, I didn't come up with this, someone else did. Funny, one of the Yonex stringers came up with this actually. So I'm not sure. They say that there's this way to do it the Yonex way, but honestly, they all do it a bit different anyhow. Yeah, see, it relaxed hardly anything. That's still bloody spot on. Don't know why more stringers don't do it that way. It's a lot easier. And now it's just business as usual. This is the best bit now because we've got all these free holes. You can really get into your weaving really good. hope this racket holds up after this with the crack that it's had. So I bought another one the same because I do love this racket. But yeah, to have two the same would be pretty cool. That's what the pros do, isn't it? You can have all the gear and no idea, but yeah, the pros carry all rackets the same. So why can't I? Eh? It's not even that dear a racket. Actually, I'm surprised I like it as much as I do. I typically go for really most expensive thing I can afford to buy. Who we got on? Who we got? Tom Bellower. Hey Tom, how you doing, mate? Presumably there's some badminton players watching, is there? Adam Susi. How are you, Adam? Where you from, mate? You going good? Rio joined. Go Rio. There's an Aussie. LOL 22. Aussie and what's that other flag? Oh. If you're if you ever watch badminton on BWF, most of the tournaments are streamed live, which is fantastic. I just love watching the badminton live. I can never remember what all the flags look like. You think after watching it for a while you'd remember, but they don't put the name of the country up there. They just put the flag there. It's like, oh, where's that from? Chinese Taipei I've got down. Don't get my Malaysias and all that stuff mixed up. Yeah. Actually, that might have been a Malaysia flag, was it? The really high-end machines are amazing. If you've seen them, they're so fast and smooth and quiet. But you know what? They don't have things. That's all great. They don't have heaps of things to catch the string on. Like this has got a tray and a bloody knob here and handles and stuff. The string keeps catching on it when I pull it up. Sam, g'day Sam. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Gary, g'day Gary. Great work, mate. Thanks. A bit of positivity. That's nice. Cheers, dude. Get through there. God, the technology that goes into these strings is pretty amazing. touching everything on the feet this time. Doesn't seem to damage it. Yeah, so when you string a racket, the mains and the crosses are done at different tensions, and then in the middle you get an average. So this is rackets being done at 27, and so the mains are done at 26, and then the crosses are done at 28. Give you an average tension of 27. I typically go just 0.3 on each of those, just to allow for a bit of give, and a bit of loss of tension in the knots and stuff. And on this one I'm using pre-stretch. So for the 28 it pulls it out to 30 and then releases it a little bit for the pre-stretch. I don't normally pre-stretch, but this is my racket, so I thought I'll have a go, see if it makes any difference. Of course there's no guarantees that this cracked racket's even going to make it through this process, but we'll see. 27's kind of high tension for a casual player like me. But I like the extra touch it gives me around the net. I'm not a big hitting player. Oh, that didn't grip. I'm not a big hitting player. Anyhow, I don't have a big smash or anything. So that bit of extra touch for a drop shot or whatever is more beneficial to me than having slightly looser strings and a bigger sweet spot. What amazes me at our club is the amount of people that really don't know the difference between string tensions and what difference it actually makes to the way you play your game. Who we got joining us? Johnny, g'day Johnny. Jeff Kittenbaum, never even heard of him. Anyhow, how are you, Jeff? I would love one day for one of my badminton heroes to just log on and say g'day or whatever, or reach out. That would be so cool. But my two favourite people in badminton are an English couple called Jenny and Greg. They were competitive players, very good players. They've just given it up to keep working on their badminton channel. They have a badminton channel called Badminton Insight, and the way they explain things is fun, and they just seem like genuinely nice people. I'd love to meet them one day, or perhaps have the funds to sponsor them on a trip to Australia to ideally just to a local club match where we could have some fun and stuff. But yeah, they're touring all over the world. They got a little bit of sponsorship from Victor, the badminton racket maker. Victor, I've never had a Victor badminton racket. Maybe I should get one day. They got their own brand of stuff as well for Badminton Insight. They got some really cool programs that are probably worth looking at if you're taking it a bit seriously as well. Yeah, they've got a my other hook, a bit smaller. There. So that's my other hook. It's got a round handle. It's much harder to get a grip on the string, but when it's tight like it is in here, I can't get that bigger hook through. So hopefully I can get enough pressure on this with that handle to get that through there. Yeah. Cool. yeah, so if you're interested in badminton, go and check out Badminton Insight. Tell them Jared sent you. Maybe that'll help them find me. I comment on their stuff and they probably know roughly who I am. There wouldn't be that many from Australia that comment as often as I do. Probably think I'm a weird stalker. Maybe I am. I don't know. Internet's full of weird stalkers anyhow, isn't it? We've got Dion, Onan, Jella. Any badminton players there? Who've got something to say? Get a bit of dialogue going just for fun. Trying to get concentrating on what I'm doing, so I can't really look up at the screen too much. But, g'day, Ethan. Where's everyone from? I like seeing the flags when people put a flag against their username. Let's see where people are in the world. It's pretty amazing. Actually, seeing. Missing my hook. There's my little hook. There we go. Gee, she's squeezy in there. Oh, come on. Get in there, get in there. Work on a tricky part of the racket here as well, because this is right where the break has been repaired. So it's right where that crack has been fixed. So I don't know what's going to happen once we start putting some extra pressure on that. Hopefully it'll somehow manage to survive. Probably won't know until it comes out of the frame anyhow, because the sort of out of the clamps, because the clamps sort of keep everything together. Now around this part of the rack, as we get up towards the top here, you've got to start clamping in a little bit, because often you've got strings in here that you need to move aside, and if the clamp's too close to the strings, you can't move them, and then you can't get your string through. So, another thing I've learnt over time, rather than fighting with it, just work with the problem. Ideally you want to string as close to the frame as you can, but sometimes it's just not practical. Alright, there's my shared hole with the glue on it. Wish me luck. Not on this one. This one's not tightening on it. Next one. A couple of my bearings have fallen over in that clamp. Alright. All right. Fingers aren't strong enough to grab that. There we go. So this is where I'd normally have a string in the middle of that so I can pull it out of the way to get this through, because there's a string that goes over the hole here. But I saw those professional stringers just use an awl to get it out of the way, so that's what I'm trying to do. And then not damage the string on the way out, and that's just what I did, damage the string on the way out. Second time, done it again. Damn it. So that'll have to come out. Yeah. Don't know how you did that without damaging the strings. Just going to cut them out. Trouble with this, is a lot of tension in this racket now, and I reckon it's just going to break whether I've done that repair. We'll see. Obviously not going to worry about redoing the mains, they're fine. It's going to be a long night. And expensive, because we keep breaking string. So what have we learnt from that? Do what you know. Put the bloody protector string in there. Oh, actually, I might have to redo the whole thing because the knots have been tied off. Yeah, I'm not going to get that string off. Yeah, the whole thing's going to have to be done again. So I'm not doing it tonight. Too hard now. Oh, and it was a main that broke, not a cross. So yeah, I do have to do the whole thing again. Not doing it tonight. Lost my patience with it. Thanks for watching, whoever watched the live. Oh, so much pressure on these rackets. It's unreal, isn't it? Anyhow, all good. Yeah, just caught it with that awl. That was enough to fray the string and have it break. Doesn't really matter. If it was a customer's racket, I'll just have to do it again as well. tried my patience tonight. So I'm just going to go inside, watch some TV, maybe listen to some music. Doesn't look like the crack got worse though, so that's good. It was right on that crack though. I wonder if that is causing a problem for that string. I bet it is. I bet the string's rubbing against that. That's what it is. So the repair I've done, I think the string is rubbing against the glue and the bicarb soda. Yeah, I don't think that's anything I've done wrong. I think it's that repair that's causing the problem. So no matter what I do, that's going to keep breaking at that point. I wonder if I can flake that off and try it again and make it a bit neater next time. But it's hard as rock though. Anyhow, that'll do for tonight. Thanks for watching.